children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom. Circle round for peace. For all of us imprisoned, celebrate release. Circle for the planet. Circle for each soul. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
Thank you so much, Greg and Spirit Voice. Good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. For those of you that are here and all of you that are out in TV land someplace online. As our mission states, we are a vibrant community growing through spiritual practice and love. I am Jeff Hunter. I'll be your platform assistant this morning. So I'd ask you to please take a moment to, if you haven't silenced your cell phone, to do that. Weren't they good? Oh my God, I love that song. I know they need another round of applause. They're also our music today too, so it'll really be fun. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. Together we affirm, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good. One presence, one power, one life living through and as each one of us. We are very grateful today to have Amber Boren, who you will meet in just a few moments, here with her message of the divine darkness. Amber is the Youth and Family Director at North Idaho Unity, and we are very thankful that you're here today. Plus, she's easy on the eyes, I tell you. And our music today, sorry, that was kind of inappropriate, but we go by facts here. We go by facts. Our music today is being provided by Greg and Spirit Voice. And Steve will share an opening prayer with us. First, our song leaders, here they are, will start us off with a community song.
Yes.
So let's put aside your cares of today and enter the quiet center of your soul. Let's take a deep breath, a healing breath. Inhale deeply and let the air out slowly with a quiet, relaxing sigh. As you do, relax completely. Allow the chair to support your weight. Send your roots deep into Mother Earth. Straighten your spine and stretch it to the heavens. Let the energies of earth and heaven meet in your heart. Let that energy fill you, top to bottom, front to back, side to side. God is eternal, infinite, here and now. The divine is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. God was, is now, and ever shall be. The divine is our creator, our source, always present, around us and within us. I am one with God's eternal, infinite nature. I am everywhere and throughout all time. I was before time began, and I will still be when time ends. The divine is light within, is always present. In our most joyous times and in our darkest times, the power of this realization flows through me and out into the world. And as I am one with God's eternal nature, so are each of you. For we are all one in God's love. In this experience of God's infinite and eternal nature, we know that time is just an illusion. We know that past, present, and future are all happening now. We know, as it is written in Ecclesiastes, the dust returns to dust as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Participate in God's eternal, infinite nature by blessing this service, our speaker, Amber Boren, our musician, and all the volunteers that make this service possible. I bless this center and our community. I release this prayer into the universal mind, knowing it is already done. I am so grateful for the knowledge that infinite is what we really are, and for the realization that it shall always be so. And so it is.
Testing.
This next song is a collaboration that my wife and I did. She wrote the words, she wrote the lyrics, and I put the music to it. She likes to think of it as a Thanksgiving song. I like to think of it as a call to action. Enjoy it. The song is entitled, How Large Is Our Table?
But not to another land.
Very happy to be here. I'm just going to take a second to get my notes in order. Make sure I know how to use this. So my name's Amber Boren, and I'm the Youth and Family Director over at Unity in Coeur d'Alene. I'm a teacher. I'm a spiritual teacher, and I now consider myself a spiritual philosopher, self-appointed. And I think that probably many of you sitting out there in the audience today are also spiritual philosophers, people who really like to think, to read, and to just intake deeply the divine and allow it to resonate through your being and to come up with new and expansive ways of understanding our place in this universe. And so in being a spiritual philosopher, I'm drawn to language and to words, but I've really found that when we're talking about the divine and the spirit and the experiences that we have when we are feeling our soul essence, often words and language fall short. There aren't a lot of words and language that we can use to describe what that feels like to be one with God, to have the Spirit of God fill our being. And so, thinking about language, I started to think about my own spirit and my light. And I want you to think for just a moment about how you would define light, the word light, in your life and in life in general. So just take a moment and think about that. How do you define light? Anyone want to yell out? It's not the classroom, it's okay.
Absence of darkness.
Okay, absence of darkness. Love. Joy. Radiance. Yes. Yes. We could go on and on probably all day long and come up with synonyms that mean light. When I looked it up in the dictionary, a lot of those definitions that you just said weren't there because we resonate with light in its spiritual meaning. But the dictionary says that light is the natural agent that stimulates sight and makes things visible. It illuminates. It ignites. It's the expression in someone's eyes indicating a particular emotion or a mood. It's pale. It's the weight of something. And then I added the divine essence. The Bible says that in the beginning, God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And so light became synonymous with goodness, with joy, with knowledge, and with positivity. But then I also started to think about what's called the law of divine oneness, something here at Unity that's really a core value for us, that this law says that the divine oneness means that everything is connected. Everything in the universe is an extension of source energy, which means that nothing is separate on a spiritual level. So if nothing is separate on a spiritual level, what does that mean about darkness? Because I want you to take a moment now and think about the word darkness and how you would define darkness. The absence of light. Yes. Quiet. Evil. Heaviness. Cold. Shadow. Rest. Stumble. not inspired. Separation. Yes. Unhappiness, maybe, wickedness, ignorance. Darkness sometimes means the aspects of our life that lie beyond our understanding and our perception, representing also the depths of our human psyche. Some of our common phrases in our language that have to do with the dark are the dark night of the soul, which my guess is many of you and have experienced probably more than once here. Also, someone might have a dark side, or darken someone's doorstep, darken the mood. We might be in the dark or keep someone in the dark. So many of our language references use darkness in a very negative or vilified way. And not to mention how our negative language surrounding darkness has influenced our social biases around race and skin color. We project our fears of the unknown onto the dark, both the possible and imagined dangers that are potentially concealed in the darkness. The absence of light sometimes makes us uncomfortable. We fear the unknown. We feel unsettled by the hidden. Now, I'm not saying that evil doesn't exist. And I'm not saying that evil doesn't use the darkness to conceal itself. But that does not make the dark evil. For if any of you watch any of the news or listen to the news, you'll find that evil exists in the light as well as in the dark. So one of my favorite words is the word chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is a term that is mostly used in the art world. And chiaroscuro is the play of light and shadow. And just in this picture here, you can see there's a play of light and shadow to create a beautiful picture. But being a spiritual philosopher, I also like to think of chiaroscuro and how it plays itself and shows itself in my life, in the lives of others, how it shows up in the world, and also how it shows up in God. I've thought a lot about the creation story in the Bible, and that if God created light, then that suggests that God either existed in the darkness or that God was and is the darkness. And I know that might sound a little strange, but that's how I kind of came to think of it. These aren't my words, someone else said it, and I can't remember who, but it says that the dark was the canvas that God used for creation. And I think about the creation of humanity, of our earth, and how it's this beautiful expression of two different polarities. We have this ball of just life here on earth, but floating in a sea of darkness. And I think about life, and I think about the seed, like the seed of an oak tree. that this potential for life, and we place this seed into the dark earth because the darkness is necessary for the seed. It's in the dark that the seed is cracked open and that the roots begin to grow out of it and begin to take hold in the dirt. And then the seedling begins to grow out of the darkness and into the light. And this seedling exists in a polarity, because once it sprouts up from the earth, it begins drawing its nutrients from the sun and the elements, but also at the same time, it continues to expand under the ground and to draw its nutrients from the dark earth. In spirituality, darkness is also a metaphor for our own journey. That many times in our life we're going to experience things that we don't know how we're going to manage. We might not know how to get through. We're walking a dark path. But our faith in God and the divine tells us that we are meant to walk that path, and God will illuminate the steps. God will show us the way when God decides it's time, in divine timing. So I mentioned before the law of divine oneness. Throughout human history, humankind has observed the natural world, has observed human behavior and the cosmos in order to gain greater understanding of our reality. And the knowledge that has been learned by these observations, these accumulated observations, has been used to create what's called the 12 laws of the universe. The law of divine oneness is the first law, that everything is of source. But there are a few other laws that some of you might be familiar with. The law of attraction is one of those. The law of vibration, that everything vibrates at its own frequency. Also the law of polarity. The law of polarity states that everything has an opposite. We have hot and cold, up, down, day, night, creation, destruction, life, death, light, dark. For every problem, there's a solution. For every obstacle, there's an opportunity. The existence of these opposites helps us gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and can help broaden our perspective on life. The law of polarity helps us to value and appreciate the aspects of our lives that we might take for granted. Because when we experience great joy, the reason we're able to experience such great joy is because we have contrastly experienced also great sorrow. Because in contrast, it brings more clarity. When we're facing difficult situations, like the loss of a job or a relationship or a health challenge, tuning into what the opposite looks like can reveal a new perspective and a lesson for us. One of the things that I love about the law of polarity is that it's symbolized by the yin and the yang symbol. And for me, the yin and the yang symbol is a very powerful and meaningful symbol that I like to think about a lot, about how balance is created in our universe. The divine is always seeking for balance. And the yin yang symbol comes from Chinese philosophy, and it's half dark and half light, but within each of those polarities, the opposite also exists. So I started to think about the light, because part of our spiritual journey is really to grow our light, to expand our consciousness, to expand light to the planet and to each other. And so I started to think, though, about, well, then, what's the darkness within that light? And that's a complicated question. There are lots of different answers, but I just started to think about light in general and how light could be seen as negative when light is so, beautiful. I love the light. But I thought about this place in Idaho. It's called the Dark Sky Reserve. And it's basically a national park, an area of land set aside where they don't allow light pollution. Because too much light keeps us from being able to see the brilliance in the night sky. When we go outside today in our neighborhoods, we only get to see a tiny, minuscule fraction of what the heavens have for us up there. When you really get a chance to look deeply in the night sky as it's meant to be without the light pollution, we are overcome with the awe and greatness of God's magnificence. And so, thinking about that there's light pollution, we can have too much light, I thought, well, does that mean spiritually we can have too much light? And I thought, no. No, it doesn't. But it also means that when we are growing in our light and expanding in our light, we still have to be mindful that there is still darkness in that we must not become overly vain, overly judgmental, because sometimes in spiritual circles, we only want to talk about the light and the love and the positivity, and then we start to look at other people and say, oh, well, those people who go to church over there, they're not as enlightened as me, or their consciousness is closed off, and we have this judgmental attitude that can sometimes happen. And so keeping that in check, keeping that darkness within the light in check, I think is an important part of learning to be a balanced being. So part of our internal darkness has been termed what's called our shadow. This term became popularized by the psychoanalyst Carl Jung. And Jung describes the shadow as the uncivilized, primitive, unacceptable parts of ourselves. It means things like our sadness, our cruelty, our rage, our shame. We all, as humans, have instincts and desires. We have emotions and impulses, which are seen as unacceptable, ugly, or destructive. This might include the desire for power or control. It includes our raw emotions like anger and aggression and rage. It includes our sexual urges and our lust, our unattractive feelings of envy and selfishness, prejudice and greed. Our shadow is essentially anything that we deem wrong, bad, evil, inferior. And it's what you perceive as dark and weak about yourself. And so we keep it hidden, or we deny it. So the shadow is the disowned, the orphaned parts of ourselves. But the shadow is not meant to be hidden and discarded and ignored, because the shadow is a survival mechanism. The shadow wants to protect us from the trauma and the pain and the suffering that is an inevitable part of this life. The shadow also contains our subconscious mind, the parts of our minds that we don't have access to most of the time. But the more that we suppress the shadow, the harder it becomes for us to access it. The more we ignore it, the more it starts to act up with intrusive thoughts and feelings. It will demand attention in ways that can be destructive and can diminish our light. When we ignore our shadow, it becomes bigger. It grows. I truly believe that part of our spiritual journey is healing. That the more that we heal our being, the more we work with our shadow, those parts of ourselves that we want to deny, and we can heal some of those things that are crying out for healing, the more we remove the veil that stands in between us and our true soul essence. And God is really calling us to do that, to do the work to heal ourselves so that we can bring our soul and our personality into alignment. And that is what we're really meant to be bringing forth unto this world. Our true, authentic self is a merging of the soul, our light, and the personality, our dark, to create a balanced whole as a human on this earth. And so part of the shadow work really begins with self-reflection. It's the process of turning inward and examining our thoughts, our emotions, our actions and behaviors with honesty and sincerity. It's taking those quiet moments of introspection and shining the light on those dark parts that we often want to pretend don't exist. And this is the inner journey, the inner spiritual work. Shadow work is really the transmutation of energy, which also happens to be another one of the 12 laws of the universe. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy says that energy is constantly evolving or fluctuating. And so too is our own energy. Our energetic being is constantly evolving and fluctuating. And it's either going to evolve and fluctuate by becoming heavier, denser, darker, or it's going to become lighter and purer and more in line with our divine essence. Shadow work is purging out the energy that no longer serves you. It's the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual work to heal our beings. So a couple tips for shadow work. One is to watch our triggers. We all have triggers in this life. Things that happen that bring up an emotional response in us. Someone says something and you're like, you get an emotional response. But really that emotional response is meant to teach us about what lies hidden in our subconscious. It's a cue for us to be mindful. Those emotions that we label as negative, things like agitation, anger, and such are meant to point the way for our own illumination, for our own healing. So simply by observing and being present with our emotions when they are triggered and when those responses creep up inside of us can help us create a little more space so we aren't reacting from our shadow parts. Another tip for practicing shadow work is to look closely at your past. Look at your home life, your family, your environment, the unrealistic expectations of social conditioning, the education system, and yes, even religion. A lot of the aspects of the shadow begin in our childhood and from situations growing up that we had to endure and we needed to survive. And so becoming aware of how the past events has shaped us into who we are. So there's something called the 3-2-1 process for when you're working with doing that inner journey, that inner work. And it's a process to help work with our shadow and to meet our shadow, befriend our shadow, and embrace it with love. So one is to locate the shadow. And really that just means being the observer, observing yourself, to see what you judge in others, what triggers you, and what causes reactions in you, and causes you to react in ways that you don't want to maybe react. That's 3. The second one is to talk to it as if it's another person. I think the last time I was here, I told you guys that I actually named my shadow. I call her baby girl so that I can have a conversation with her. And I give her that term, baby girl, because I wanted to give her a loving name, because I try to reparent my shadow, because she likes to misbehave. And baby girl, we can't have that. So I talk to my shadow, and I have a dialogue with the shadow and ask, why did you come into this life? What is it you want to show me? What do I need to learn from you? And I also try to comfort, give guidance and reassurance to myself, well, to baby girl. And then the last step, the first person step, is to set aside time to sit with the shadow, to just sit and be, and to embody it and all the aspects of you. And to imagine for a few moments that your shadow part is a small child that you have the opportunity to hold, to console, to nurture, and to show unconditional love. Showing unconditional love to the darkest parts of ourselves is probably one of the hardest things that the spiritual journey calls us to do. Because that's really deeply, truly loving and accepting yourself. It's much easier to accept the parts of ourselves that are joyful and beautiful, and the parts of ourselves that are our gifts meant to spread out into the world. It's easy to love that part of ourselves. It's not so easy to love the parts of ourselves that show up and might be cruel, judgmental, dismissive. But working with the virtue of forgiveness, with acceptance, to find a way to love yourself is truly transformative. So the dark isn't meant for us to shun, to ignore, and to turn our backs to. The dark is really meant as one of God's greatest teachers to show us if God can love us in our darkest moments. Can we love ourselves and each other in our darkest moments? And I think the answer is yes. Yes, we can. And so it is. I'm going to ask you now to close your eyes and join me in meditation. Let's just begin with our breath, tuning in to your breathing. Breathing in deeply and breathing out with an audible sigh. Let's do this 3 more times. Take a deep breath in and breathe out with a sigh, just relaxing even more. Breathe in and breathe out. And one more time, breathe in and breathe out. When we close our eyes, we are in the darkness. We are in the space of the divine. We close our eyes and we pray. And we close our eyes to be comforted. We close our eyes to find refuge in the dark womb of the Divine Mother. I want you to imagine yourself floating in the dark space. There's nothing to fear, for the dark space is the love of the divine. You are wrapped in security and safety, a place for you to rest, to rejuvenate, to find solace, and to be comforted. In this dark space, you breathe in the divine essence, and you breathe out. With each breath, you are deeply nourished by the love of God, who wraps you up, who watches after you, who guides you. And as you breathe in this dark space, I want you to feel that you breathe in the light that exists within the dark. You draw the light out of the sacred darkness, and it heals your body. Nourishes your body. fills you with more and more light. And as you continue to breathe, feel that light move into your heart space, and a golden glow. It's warm and made of love and made of God. Radiate that love from your heart, that pure essence of being, and allow it to expand so that you're no longer just floating in the dark, but now you're a being surrounded by a sphere of beautiful golden light, of beautiful golden love. You're going to sit and exist and just be the light, be the love in the silence. God resides in depths of darkness as the light of sunbeams. The moon shines brighter, surrounded by night, and life is secure in the black waters of the womb. As the night sky littered with stars demonstrates again and again, there is beauty in darkness and beauty in light. No one more brilliant than the other, one no more necessary than the other, one always complementing the other. Without the heated darkness of the universe, splitting neutrons, electrons, and protons from atoms, life and light would never be. The task for us today is to recognize God in both, to see the divine in the rich brown earth, the textured black walnut, as well as the white snow and the pale pink jellyfish, to see the sacred in the panther and the swan, to embrace the dignity of the Black Madonna as it is embodied in the Virgin Mary. The task for us today is to look into the multifaceted colors of onyx and see the miraculous spectrum of color produced in the prism of a diamond. And so it is. Namaste.
This next song we're about to sing is another song that I wrote. I call it my anthem for America. In this time of election, season, there's just so much fear and anger and worry, confusion out there. So this is another call to action song. It's an action for you to picture a vision. Picture a vision that is to see what America could be if we just all approached our lives and our public life with more love and compassion. The song is entitled Vision for America.
Let's give another hand to those wonderful people. And this special thank you to Greg. It's always such a joy for those of us that sing to have his original music, and it's so meaningful for us to do that. So my name's Jim Sledge, and this is a time of sharing our financial treasures and gifts. As you can see on the screen, there are many ways in which you can share your financial contributions with this wonderful place. If you get into the website, you'll be reminded of the many places and many opportunities. Find the one that speaks to you, and please join us. We are so grateful to all of you that have stepped up with your time, treasures, and talent to continue to make this place that we all love prosper. And let me tell you, it is prospering. It's continuing to prosper. Let's take that sense of prosperity into our hearts as we share our offertory blessing. Together, I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share.
Well, what a service. Thank you, Amber. Beautiful. I loved it. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Spirit Voice. Thank you, Julian. Thank everybody that made this service as wonderful as it was today. Okay, let's join me now as we say our unity statement. Together, unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, and one life. So, whoever you are on your spiritual journey, wherever that's taking you, we want you to know We love you here. You belong here. We want you here. So, remember that. Be here. We need you. And your money. If you're here for the first time, and I know there's somebody here for the first time, I don't know if she's a friend of mine, I don't know if she's going to raise her hand, but she better. So we want to welcome first-time people here. So if you're here for the first time, would you raise your hand? All right, there you go. Oh, thank you. There's another one. Oh, yes. Oh, they're coming out of the woodwork. I love it. We're very happy you're here. There's a packet full of goodies, and there's a coupon in there for a free drink at our barista stand. So take advantage of that. Hopefully you'll stay after, have something to eat, and let people get to know you. We encourage everybody to sign up for our email newsletter and learn more about what's going on at church. You can sign up for the e-news by scanning the QR code around the building, or you can go to unityspokane.org website and find it. We'd also like to connect with you on all of the social media juggernauts out there, you know. So you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. I don't know where else you can find us, but you can find us there. So keep in touch with us. We want you to know what's going on. And we want you to know, and we want you to know, we want to know what you know. Does that make any sense? I don't know if it makes sense, but what I'm saying is we value you, we value your spiritual journey, and we value you being here, okay? Am I making my point? I hope so. All right, let's move on. Let's move on. I can't do this all day. I have some jokes prepared, but no. Our chaplains today are Gary, who's been holding the service in prayer, and Al, who will be available to pray with you immediately following the service at the front of the sanctuary. If you have something that's heavy on your heart, or you have a joy you want to share with us, please take advantage of our chaplains. It's a wonderful program, and we really, really appreciate the chaplains as much as we can. All right, let's look at news you can use very quickly. Thank you to everyone who came to the Vila Blues and Jazz concert on Friday night. It was fabulous. It was out of this world fabulous. I absolutely loved it. It was such a nice Friday night to be here. Our annual Day of the Dead celebration is next Sunday, October 27th, 10 a.m. Join us to honor your loved ones who have passed before you. Plan to arrive early, 9:45, so that you can come up onto the platform, put whatever you want on here. Last year it was just momentous. I just loved it. We will have a mariachi band here that'll be playing before the service, during the service, after the service. It's going to be a great day. It's going to be a big party, but there's a lot of meaning behind the Day of the Dead. And so I'm not sure who's speaking next week, but, oh, it's in here? Okay. All right. So please be here. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your pictures, bring whatever you want. Make sure to look at Courtney Litwin's beautiful photography, which is up in the store area for one more week through the 27th of October. You may actually find an early Christmas present or something that just touches you. We have a town hall meeting coming up on Saturday, November 3rd after the Sunday service. We will do some visioning for our center for 2025 and beyond. Everyone is welcome to join us and participate. Okay. Oh, I'm on the wrong sheet now. Where's my sheet? What's next? The kids? What? Oh. I don't think it's on you. We have a class coming up, Unlearning Death, a class that explores your relationship to life. It's not just about death, right, Amber? That's right. It's about living. Yes. It's with Amber McKenzie, who I adore and is a fabulous person. Mondays 5 to 7 p.m. It's the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, and the 25th of November, Unity Spiritual Center. And we also have a restorative sound bath on Saturday, November 9th. That's 3 p.m. to 4:15, $30 per person. It improves your balance, reduces stress, increased focus, better mood, more inner peace. My God, you can get all that for $30? I'm telling you, it's better than going grocery shopping. All right, I'm done. All right, here's our board.
Thank you, Jeff. It's Dr. Cortez will be our guest speaker at the Day of the Dead. He's works at Gonzaga. With all these new people, I guess I better introduce myself. I'm Rick Hutchins, your board president, and I'd like to give you a little update. As most of you know, Claire and I have been gone for a month. We're visiting daughter and family in Illinois. We're back, and I did hear from many of you how much you miss Claire. Ask and you shall receive. That is what I said to you when I stood up here June 16th, 18 weeks ago. I asked for your help and you responded. Your giving and tithing has increased exponentially, as Jim has suggested. Back in May, our net loss was $12,623. In September, this last September, our net gain, yes, I said gain, was $7,727. Thank you all. Even better news, we think this trend is going to continue, but we're not quite there. We're not going to hire a minister quite yet, but we're getting there. Our new board met this last Monday and welcomed our two new board members, Pat Mertens and Terry Lewis Sanders, who's joining Jenny, Doug, Karen, and myself. Great board meeting, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. So thank you, board. I'm now calling it, we're 6 strong now. I'm calling us the Fabulous 6. Don't you think, Pat? It's a good name. But there's more than just those 6 fabulous people. First in mind is, I mentioned 18 weeks. Well, thanks to Sally and Claire, who head up our Sunday service team, they were able to provide wonderful guest speakers like the one we witnessed today, Amber. So I think Claire and Sally are pretty fabulous. Matter of fact, I think you're all fabulous. We just really turned things around. Back to the board, we report to you, the congregation, and we now need your help. After 18 weeks, we need some direction from you. And that's why Jeff mentioned we're going to be holding a town hall meeting after the service on November 3rd. I've named it USCS Visioning for 2025. But after listening to Greg's song, Vision for America, I'm going to call it Vision for Unity. But also after listening to Amber, I think it's time to do some shadow work at our town hall. Now the board isn't looking for any votes or decisions. We just want your input. We need your guidance. So all are welcome. You don't have to be a voting member. You could be anybody who's interested in the future, the visioning of this center. So please plan on attending after the service on Sunday the 3rd. I want to mention, thank you, Ron and Juliet. We now have new leaders for the Passion and Action team. What's that? Compassion. Passion, compassion. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Juliet.
I like that.
Oh, okay. They're passionate about it. They gave us a proposal why they would like to lead this team, and we graciously and very favorably said yes to the two of them. So thank you. Couple other things. I would love to credit the board for holding this center together for the last 18 weeks. But no, that credit goes to Deanna. Deanna, our church administrator, has been holding things together.
Keep it together today, would you? She's fabulous.
I was together for 18 weeks.
Couldn't do it without you. Thank you, Deanna. But she needs our help. She needs more volunteers for the welcoming committee. She needs more volunteers to work in the youth center. She needs volunteers to remember to lock the outside doors. If you're not using the main entrance, please remember to close those doors. But if you have time and you have talents that can help this church and help Deanna, please reach out to Deanna. And with that, in closing my remarks, I want to thank Greg, Spirit in Action, and Amber. Wasn't she great?
Thank you, Rick. As we bring the kids in with, what is the song we're using now? Oh, Linus and Lucy. I want to just, go ahead. I want to just thank Joyce Tucker today for bringing these gorgeous mums. Aren't they just absolutely gorgeous? Thank you, Joyce. Okay, are we going to get some traveling music? Go ahead. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light. Oh, there's a lot of kids. In the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. Wow, look at this. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Oh, we are so blessed to have an amazing youth ministry here at Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. I want to thank all the kids for being here today, and especially thank all the adults who give their time, their heart, their energy to our youth. So thank you all. So, warm your hands up. Let's get ready to bless the children. Together, be the love you are. Sing the song you hear. Share your joy of life with people far and near. For us, warm them up again. Here we go. Be the love we are. Sing the song we hear. Share our joy of life with people far and near. All right, kids, go back to the flock that you came with. And now, will you please stand if you are able and join together for our prayer of protection, followed by the peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.